Yo, what's going on guys, Havoc and I'm back! Every now and then, Supercell will post a series of features that are ruled out. And although the purpose of these posts are to list everything we won't get, some of these things have actually been added over the years. And so, well, today we're going to be discussing those things that we weren't supposed to get, but hey, we still got. So, let's get right into it. Upgradable builders. Okay, the idea of upgradable builders has been around for years. Most of the time these ideas concentrated on upgrading the builder's stats, so like faster building, less time to upgrade something, or even just be able to use more than one builder on one upgrade. Keep in mind this was before potions and all that, so yeah. There are tons, I mean tons of concept images for this idea, but I think no one expected what we actually got. Defensive builders. I'm sure you've heard about the new Town Hall 14 and the cool features it brings to the game, unless you've been living under a rock. I mean, I'm kinda jealous as well. I'm only at Town Hall 12, so I got months or probably years to go. But still, those builder levels look pretty sick, and we can't ignore that upgradable builders was once ruled out, and we finally got some sort of iteration of those concepts from back in the day. Swap buildings. Drop one on the other, pop up, or double tap to swap if the same size. I feel like I'm reading a list of features that they just wrote down for later. Like, write that down, write that down! For some reason though, being able to swap two building positions was ruled out, and I believe it was just that, why? You can move it yourself. There's no need to do all this coding to implement this feature. Every now and then though, Supercell does updates titled as quality of life changes. And basically what that is it brings an update with a lot of changes exactly like this one. Stuff we don't need, but they might add anyways because it might better our play experience. And swapping buildings happens to be one of those features. It wasn't needed and it was ruled out, but they saw that it was useful and ended up adding it years later. Gem mines or drills. Okay, this one is pretty clear. A mine or a drill that can produce gems instead of gold elixir or dark elixir. But obviously, if you play the builder base, you know that we have a gem mine. In fact, it does exactly what was originally ruled out, which is funny. Before this was added though, the idea of a gem mine was always requested. I mean, people talked about it, made concept images, and begged Supercell for some sort of gem mine. Finally though, when the builder base was added in 2017, it appears as though Supercell wanted to spice things up with new buildings and cool features, and so the gem mine wish became true. Troop carrier. Trojan horse-like. It moves on its own until damaged, then troops pop out. Now we haven't exactly got a troop that can do this unless you consider the battle ram, but that was only a temporary troop. We do, however, have siege machines. Now when siege machines were first released in 2017, they were referred to by Supercell as mobile clan castles. You deploy a siege machine of your choice, it does its job, and if destroyed, it will spawn the troops in it. This sounds really like that troop carrier idea now, huh? So yeah, it's safe to say that when making Town Hall 12, Supercell wanted something unique, and one of the features so happens to be something they ruled out at one point. Upgrade menu listing all things upgradable. Okay, now stop. I don't need to explain myself here, do I? Well, let me just briefly discuss this one. Clearly, when you tap on the builders at the top of the screen, you'll pull up a menu with everything you can upgrade, including suggested upgrades, things you can afford, and things you can't afford. It's basically, well, a upgrade menu listing all things upgradable. To be honest, this all can't be a coincidence. They must have a list of ruled out ideas, and then they look back at it, and then they decide which one they want to try to do. A separate village. Okay, obviously, there's a second village in the game. We don't need to go too much into detail. I mean, we have the main village and then we have the builder base. But in the old days, people were always speculating of a Clash of Clans 2 or another base or something along those lines, you know? Supercell was quick to say no because they wanted the focus of the player to be in their base, not something else. Clearly though, changing their minds about this was a good idea because a lot of people love the builder base. It's crazy to think that at one point though, this was seen as a feature that we will never get. And yeah, that's about all I can say about it. Active live online status. Examples include colored icons, on and off indicators, etc. Although not universally in the game, you can in fact see when your Supercell ID friends, in-game friends, or Facebook friends are online, which is pretty much the same thing. If you've been in a clan for a while, you probably have all your clan members added as a friend, so yeah. So although you can't see who's online in the clan directly unless they're attacking, they have already added this feature one way or another. Will this feature ever be implemented in the clan though? I'm not sure, but they've already done something like this to Clash Royale and Brawl Stars. Although Brawl Stars doesn't have icons that show you who's online, it literally tells you what they're doing if they're online, and if they're not, it tells you how long ago they were on. So I think sooner or later this will be in Clash of Clans. Modify Clan Castle. Toggle defend, not defend, like heroes. Sometimes the features they roll out are exactly what they had. Like the description of this feature is exactly what we have. It's like they were reading a list of their nah features and were like, huh, you know what? That doesn't sound that bad now that I think about it. Well, yeah, there's not much I can say about this one besides that it was rolled out at one point and then years later becoming a feature that is actually super useful. Ability to hide traps, bombs, or Teslas in edit mode to give an attacker's view. Building a good base is almost as important as everything else you do in the game, and so players wanted a way to see what the attacker saw to get a better perspective. Now sure, you can always just set your base and get attacked and look at the replay and boom, you have the attacker's view. Simple. But it's great to have a dedicated feature in village edit mode. I understand why it was rolled out. I mean, it doesn't sound super important, but it's great that they took the time to add something they didn't really need to satisfy the community. A+ on that. A new hero. Okay, this was at the time when we had 2 heroes. Right now we have 4, and we'll probably have 5 by 2 years from now. Who knows? I don't know. So when the Barbarian King and the Queen was added, everyone was speculating about a new hero. I talked about this in my Things Only OGs Remember video. I mentioned how people were always speculating on a Goblin King type of thing. Well, yeah, everyone and their mama was talking about a Goblin King or a Giant King or something ridiculous. Supercell had to respond to this and say that we won't be getting any new hero. Now skipping ahead a few years later, Town Hall 11 introduced the Grand Warden. And then for Town Hall 13 we got the, what's her name? I don't even know. I'm not at Town Hall 13, okay? Don't laugh at me. But yeah, we have 4 heroes now, and at one point when we had 2, they said no more heroes, but now we have 4. Cheaper walls. Now this one is clearly an old one, like very old. It's been quite a while since walls have been getting price reductions. But in the early days of Clash of Clans, people were always complaining about how expensive walls were, and unlike today where with every new town hall there is, the town halls below it get a price cut. Well, that didn't happen back then. It wasn't until 2016 when walls started seeing cost reductions and reducing costs for everything in the game. This became pretty normal, and now you sort of just expect it every year or two. Still though, I think it's crazy to think that we went years with no cost reductions, and the thought of at least decreasing the walls was completely ruled out. Ability to change village name. Despite having one free name change for years, the thought of changing it whenever you want it was quickly ruled out when people started to act Supercell. Years later, we did in fact get unlimited name changes, with a catch. I'm sure a lot of you know by now, but if you don't, the first name change is 500 gems and it increases another 500 gems until you reach the maximum of 10,000 gems. After that, every name change is literally 10,000 gems. Surely this isn't the best solution, seeing that it becomes very expensive after only 2 times, but at least we have the option to do so, and it was once a ruled out feature and it no longer is. Searching for a player. For a long time, players wanted to be able to find a player, but in order to do so, you had to find their clan because you couldn't search them individually. Clan tags and user tags were never a thing actually. In order to search a clan, you needed to type their name and hope 100 other clans don't have the same name. And if someone wasn't in a clan, then you had no form of finding them, so a lot of people wanted a fix to this. In 2014 though, clan tags were added to solve this problem, and in April of 2015, players were finally given tags. You couldn't do anything with it though. The ability to search a player was added later on. I'm not sure when it was added, but I do know for a fact that we do have this feature now. Upgrading walls with Elixir. Now, I'm sure you've heard me talk about the history of this certain feature, but to quickly remind you, basically upgrading walls with Elixir was added in September of 2014. It was a well-received feature. In fact, it was too good of a deal that they had to bump up the minimum upgrade level to 9 to balance the economy. To this day, it's still one of my favorite updates because god, only being able to upgrade walls with gold was hell. You had so much extra elixir just laying around doing nothing, and when they added this feature, it was a lifesaver. You could finally do something with your useless elixir. Of course, back then we didn't have a hero that uses elixir, so yeah. So guys, I think that should be it for this video. I'm not exactly sure how many we talked about. I think we have like 14, 15, but yeah, that is my list of things that we weren't supposed to get in the game. If you guys want to see a full list of these things, you can simply search Clash of Clans ruled out in Google and you'll find tons of lists. Just make sure you're looking at the right list because some lists include things that they haven't added, but they're not ruled out yet. And then at the bottom, there should be a ruled out section, just in case you wanted to see for yourself. It's really easy to confuse the two lists, so make sure you read carefully. Anyways, that should be it. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching. Havoc Gaming out. Peace.